What's up everyone, welcome to the channel. In the last video I finished installing the draw tight hitch receiver on the Ford Maverick. I did pick up the hitch receiver secondhand, ran into quite a few issues as far as the hardware goes. Was able to source everything out, I was able to get everything installed. Now the last thing that I need to do is get this thing wired up for some trailer lights. I picked this kit up off of Amazon for around 50-55 bucks. So far everything looks pretty heavy duty, all of the wiring looks pretty thick. Hopefully we have no issues getting this thing on there. Stay tuned. If you did miss the last video, here is the hitch receiver that I installed. Jagger over there, he's playing some cornhole. It is a draw tight brand. It's a little bit different from some of the other brands that come out through the center here that you have to cut. Overall, very, very happy with the hitch receiver. Now again, the last thing that I have to do is get this thing wired up. Need to make sure that I have some working lights on whatever trailer I'm using. I did pick this kit up off of Amazon. We'll have to find a place to attach our ground. You do have to run the power wire all the way to the front to the battery. Aside from that, the tail light, the turn signals, all of that is pretty much plug and play. First things first, got to open the tailgate. Should be two screws, one at the top, one down here at the bottom. This one's hidden by my little hinge here. Once you remove both of those, this tail light should come out. Same thing over here on the other side. One here, tail light should come out. Driver's side tail light is out. I pulled my two screws and then there's two little clips. I use the trim tool over there, this little orange piece, and I get in on this little edge and then pop it out from there. From here you can remove the harness. It's just clipping this thing down and then pulling it. Do the same thing over here on the passenger side. Top screw and then the bottom one. Squeeze it down, pull your clip out. You can see here, once I've got everything untangled, that the yellow and brown wire, these are both much shorter. Green wire comes out much longer. It's because you're supposed to mount everything on the driver's side, and then this runs all the way to the passenger side. Here's the main box. Here is the yellow and brown wire going to the driver's side. So what I did is I just pushed it up. It says to use a fish wire to help pull it through, but I was able to just pass it all the way through by myself. Once you pass it all the way through, it goes to the other side over here. If you'll push the long end through first, it's pretty easy to just push it through on the left side and then grab it from the right side with the other hand. It says to use a fishing line for this part too, but if you've got a decently long arm, you should be able to push it all the way up in there. Now I can connect it to the factory tail lights. Here's the driver's side harness pushed all the way over here. Factory harness will connect into it just like that, and this will go into the tail light. For this little module on the side over here, I should just be able to zip tie it up right there. You've got these two factory holes right here. You can put two zip ties in. It'll hold this module perfectly in place. Now I just need to run my green wire to the passenger side. Just ran the green wire all along the back end underneath the spare tire. Put it in with your right hand from the right side, reach in from the left side with your left hand. You should be able to grab it. It's going to make it a whole lot easier if I remove this cover right here. If you're running with a hitch receiver already, yours is probably cut like mine, so you'll have just a few bolts going around it and then one little clip holding it in. Really not that much extra work to take it out. It's gonna make this a whole lot easier to reach up in here. I can feed it in with my right hand. I can just grab it from the left, pull it all the way through, and then we'll just feed it up just like we did the driver's side. Should just be able to push it up in there, flip it over the edge, and it should just hang right there. And then now we can go ahead and connect this one. This can just feed right here. I'll probably zip tie this up right there on the back side. That'll hold that side in place perfectly there. It'll be on the back side so that it's not in the way of the tail light. And this little pigtail will plug into the back of the tail light. And if I need any extra room, it should just push right back in there just like that. Do the same thing over here to the driver's side. Just have it zip tied behind there. From the underside, on the driver's side, it's almost exactly enough wire, so I really didn't have to zip tie anything else up. However, for the passenger side, they do give you a long green wire. I just zip tied the excess all along this little existing wiring harness. Everything should hold right there, and it gives me a little bit of slack if I need from either end. Should be able to go ahead and connect the tail lights back up. New harness will plug into the existing piece on the tail light. There is a little lock right there to make sure that it doesn't fall out. Go ahead and pop our pins back into place. Driver side is working fine. I'm going to go ahead and put the passenger side back in. I'll test this one out too, just to make sure. Both tail lights are wired up, both are good to go. Everything should be wired up good. The only thing I need to do now is wire up the ground and the power wire. For the ground, it just runs from up top up here. What I did is just ran it through one of the sides over here where I zip tied. If I back it off a little bit here, you'll see where it'll just zip tie right here onto this wire. And then I'm just gonna mate it up to this factory ground right here. Ground is wired up. I just zip tied it right here, doubled it back just to relieve some of that slack. Factory bolt goes straight through. Now I need to wire up the power wire. Again, same thing from the underside. It comes from the very top up there. I just run it through this little slot where I did the zip tie on the side. This one does have to be lengthened. It does need to be extended. They do provide you with an extension wire. I'll get that on here first. Here's the extended power wire they give you. They also give you some extra zip ties. I've just been using my own. Here's the little butt connectors they give you to attach them. Get that first main power wire attached to one of these ends with one of these first. First connector is on. I just shove the wire up in there as far as I can. I use my pliers here. These probably are not the right pliers. I'm not an electrician, but it does work to clamp that centerpiece down. It holds both wires in place so that I can use my heat gun to shrink that heat shrink. Now it's just a matter of running all of this wire to the front to the battery. Just use all the zip ties that they gave me to try to run it along the factory wiring. First location, I'm just going to drop this whole piece straight down through this where this wiring harness is right here. I'll zip tie it up right there, then I'll zip tie it once more in the back over here. Coming from the back there's where the ground is. It comes all the way up. I've got it zip tied a few places along the way. It drops down right here. I've got it zip tied right underneath here under this piece. It'll go under all these little factory splash guards. You've got one nut holding it on right here. You've got a couple more holding it on back over here. And then there is a bolt that actually holds these two pieces together. You can see once you remove it all though, all of this drops down. I can actually zip tie it along those little pieces right there. That way it'll all be protected underneath the splash guard too. After it comes down, it just runs along this rail on the outside. It's far away from the exhaust. It's got all this heat shielding on the back side of it, so this wire should be good. These splash guards, it's a lot of those little nuts. Like I said, there's that one bolt in the center. The front one up there are two Torx bolts that you have to take out. You can see here, I just ran it along this whole way. It's zip tied. Here's a zip tie. Come along a little bit further. Here's a zip tie. I'm not sure what this module is right here, but there's nothing else to zip tie behind it. So what I did is just ran it completely behind it and then zip tied it to where those holes are on the frame. Should be able to run this thing up and connect it to the battery. Coming in from the front side, here is where the wire is ran to. It's just popping out of it right there. Here's those splash guards that I pulled down. Here's the last two bolts that I pulled out. I'll probably pop the hood and just try to run a fish wire down here. I'll tape it to it and hopefully be able to run it up to the top. Open it up. Here is the battery. Actually works out perfectly in this truck. You can see my little fishing rod going all the way to the bottom. It's actually touching the ground right now. I've got it tied off with some electrical tape so I don't lose it. But if you look, you come all the way to the bottom down here. You can see it sitting right there. Just tie some electrical tape around this end and then around this end of the wire, and I should be able to pull it all the way to the top. Got some electrical tape tied on the end there, so I'm going to come up top, just pull it through, remove my tape here, and then I should be able to pull this all the way up. I'm just going to pull the excess up, everything as much as I can. Don't really want any slack on this right up here at all. After you pull it through all the way to the top, like I said, I took all the slack out of it. I put one zip tie right here on this rail. Coming up and over, you can't really see it behind there, but it does just kind of swoop in from underneath where I zip tied it along that rail back there. I have it coming underneath the ground cable, and then I zip tied it to the power wire. Just kind of hides it out of the way, and like I said, I did take all the slack out of it. This is the wire and fuse holder they give you. It does come with a fuse on the inside. So all I'm going to do is just cut it in half right here, strip it back on both sides. When I cut this main power wire, I did give it just a little bit of slack. It's not going to be super tight. That way I can kind of tuck everything down in there. If I do ever need to adjust anything, I'll have a little bit of slack on this. Strip this one back. Take our butt connector, just like we did underneath the truck in the back. We'll put the black wire in on this side. Go ahead and pinch that down. Now we'll take one end of the red wire, stick it in the other side. Go ahead and pinch that down. Now we can heat shrink it all up. I'll go around the outside with my heat gun just to make sure you get it everywhere. For the other end of the power wire, Because I don't really have all the correct tools for pinching these things and crimping these things, I twist it around, I double it over. That way I make sure it's nice and thick when it gets through there, and it's not going to come loose from anything. You can see how I do that there, and pinch it down really good. Shouldn't have any issues out of that. Pop the cover to the power side of the battery here. This bolt is a 13 millimeter. I know I should disconnect the negative terminal of the battery, but I go ahead and drop this on there just like that. Put our nut back on. Put the cover back on and see how it clamps down. So I'm going to twist this just a tad. See here how this is going to fit. Doesn't slide perfectly over it anymore, but this should just kind of clip on there like that. You pull the sheathing back just a little bit, you can actually get the red clip to fit back on there perfectly. It just slides between that one little groove there. Everything else I'm just going to tuck down in here. It'll be out of the way of anything and everything that should mess with it. Installation should be complete though. We got our power wire connected up. I got it all ran. I got the ground wire connected up. Both tail lights are connected up. Last part is the actual trailer harness that goes to the trailer. The only way I have of testing this out is using my voltmeter here. So you can see here I've got 14.4 volts. That is coming from the tail light. The black one over here on the white wire is the ground, and the red is on the brown wire, which is the tail light. If I turn them off completely, you can see the tail lights are off, and you can see it's back down to 0 volts. I'm gonna go ahead and put the red wire into the yellow one. That should be the left turn signal and brake light. You saw me when I was hitting the brake lights, you saw the voltage go up on there, and if you look at my turn signal here, you can actually see the voltage changing as it blinks. Cool thing is this draw tight hitch came with this little bracket over here. I don't have anything specific to go on that bracket just yet, but you can see my zip tie holding the harness up. I've got it on the back side of the plug. I've got it snugged down pretty good. That way when I'm ready to hook up, I can just pop this thing loose right here. And then when I'm done, I've got my cover to go back over it. It's not the most secure option. It does wiggle just a little bit, and if you pull it hard enough, it will come out of that zip tie. There should be no tension on this. Even when that thing's plugged in, all the tension is on the hitch. From underneath, to get rid of all that slack, I put one zip tie on the actual hitch receiver right here. This just kind of keeps this backside steady so there's not a bunch of excess playing around. And then for the majority of it, what I did is I just put another zip tie along the hitch receiver, bundled it up over the top, just tied it down. That way all of this weight's not slinging around somewhere. There's a little bit of slack right here, so it's not pulling super hard. And then I've got a little bit of slack over here. Trailer lights should be good to go though. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If it helped you out with your install, please hit that like button. If you want to catch everything else going on with the channel, see the bikes get trailers for the first time, hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys next time.